Good evening to all of you. Arinakshi ma'am,
Good evening, madam.
I think people are still joining, so we will wait for some time.
We can wait for 2-3 minutes.
Okay. You tell me when to go.
Okay, madam.
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾರ್ಯಾರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಟೀಮ್ ಹಾಕಿದಾರಲ್ಲ
ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಅಷ್ಟು ಸಫಿಶಿಯಂಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಇನ್ನೂ ಇರುತ್ತೆ 14 ಅಷ್ಟೇ.
Madam.
So
Hello.
can we start?
We can start, madam. Around 20 people are there. It's already 36. No?
Yeah. Okay. So, Harinakshi ma'am, how are we going ahead? I'll just keep a video because the signal will go off. Is there anything like they're showing me, or should I go ahead with the session? What is the plan?
Currently, nobody has told anything. You can go on with the session presentation.
Okay, fine. But this is not done then, because anyway, I have prepared for my session. But the thing is that this is for everyone to listen. That see, I'm been in the teaching for around more than 15 years, and around 10 years I was in the corporate. And from my experience, I'm telling you that the learning is not listening to somebody or getting information. Learning is always effective when you do it, when you apply it. And if you're not able to apply, or if you're not able to take away from any session and trying to practically do something, your generations, sometimes I appreciate that you want immediate application of everything. So if there is a kind of a session or some expert sessions arranged by anyone who's coming, not only me, you should be actually practicing it. And how do we know that, you really are learning? The proof of learning is by showing. So I suggest that you people work on UiPath. Don't leave any software. There are n number of software tools available. I'm just trying and doing all my research to get you the best, which I can do from my side. And I'm not saying that I'm telling you the best. You may stop me anytime, or you can put in the chat box and say, ma'am, you know what? This is better than UiPath, or this is better than this particular platform. We are trying to focus on the application part of what you're learning in your training centers. So please do projects. I will be highly disappointed that I don't want a kind of a session where, it is one-sided. It should be a session where there is a takeaway and there is an exercise or homework to do on it. Okay. So anyway, most probably, maybe these are all festival seasons. So I may ignore the fact, and I may also omit this, that I can give you a benefit of doubt that you are all in a festival mood. So let's not focus much on work, but then excuses are excuses always, and performance is reality. Okay, so let's go ahead. Today, I was thinking a lot, what should I take? Then I thought, let me take a domain of AI, and which is very, very interesting. At least for me, it is very interesting. I don't know whether you'll find it interesting or not. I'll try to do it, but you can tell me if I can improve on it. So this domain is called natural language processing. Okay, and we're going to talk about that. Maybe the next session I may speak about computer vision, and I attended few sessions.
But she will get angry.
From some of the people. I had an opportunity to meet one person who had around 18 patent. And let me tell you a good news that recently I have filed a patent which is going to get released in 15 days, published in 15 days. And most probably I'm going to get a grant on this. And this is through one of my project with some of my colleagues. I will discuss about it once it is published, and I'll show you.
And congratulations from Kionix family.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am. So it's not like that I want.
Madam, I am also sorry that it seems my students are not answering your assignments and all. I am told by my team.
Yeah, but then I feel that they have to work. Maybe this is the festive season, so maybe we can give them some kind of relaxation. Let them come after the flex days thing. But I want all the team to work on it. It's not about evaluating you and judging you. It's all about seeing that are you able to apply a concept using the tools which is being told to you in the expert session, right?
Absolutely.
The thing is that you've been trained on Python, on AI, on all these technology, you're doing coding, everything is fine. But ultimately, when it comes to application, there are a number of things which companies are doing. And that's where the Kionix has asked us to, guide you people, and that's what we are doing. We are here not to tell you, how to do coding in Python, how to do PHP, how to do NAT. We are not there to do that. You have good people and good trainer and a good institute to do that. But we are here to give you an exposure to what is happening in the industry and what you should be knowing, which is going to bridge the gap between your learning and the industry practice. So,
So, ma'am, you know what? Ma'am, you know what? You can take the horse to the, lake, but you can't force them to drink water. That is what I feel. You have done your job. The experts have done the job. Now, it is totally up to the students and my faculty to, get best out of you. So, I think I'm very sorry on behalf of my students and my L2 that they have not, adhered to your evaluations and your assignments. But whatever, I think you have 2 more days. So give them those 2 days and see what best they can do, ma'am. I can only say that much. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thanks for your time and effort.
So there are a few, chats. Some people have written Vaishali Computer, Sojanya, Shrishti Infotech, and Kionix. They've said that they are actually doing it, but there is no output which is coming. See, the thing is that, sometimes it happens, students, that we handhold you. And as Sir was telling now, that we can handhold you and take you to the pond. But ultimately, it is your wish whether you want to drink water and how much you want to drink. So similar concept applying in the learning process also, that we can guide you. The Kionix is doing so much for you. They're trying to get good, people from all spheres of life, trying to give you exposure to different things. This is for what purpose? What kind of aim you have, and where do you want to see yourself after 1 or 2 years? Do you want to just do a regular job of 9 to 5 and be happy with that? Or do you want to do something extra? Or do you want to do something extraordinary? Today while I was coming back to the home and I was with one of my colleagues, she said, can you give me a lift? And I gave her a lift. And while I was talking, you know what? I'm so excited today that I'm going to go and I'm going to speak about this particular topic, which I learned while I was preparing for this session. So when anything excites you, this is what my father used to tell me, when anything excites you, you do really well in that. You can put your heart and soul into it and you can do it. Anyway, I think I have given a lot of gyan to you all. So let's go into the natural language processing concept, one of the subdomain of AI. So when we are talking about natural language processing, let's get an idea that what exactly it is. We all know that it's a field of AI, artificial intelligence. It makes human language understandable by machine. How machine can understand. Like, for example, God has given us natural intelligence. And this intelligence when we are born, we don't understand anything. We don't understand any language. We don't understand any body language, verbal, written, nothing. We are blank. We come as a blank. And what happens? Your parents will not make a very forcefully and deliberate attempt to make you learn a language. You pick up that language from the atmosphere, from the environment where you are being brought up. I still know that, I had a friend who's also North Indian, and she had a, Karnataka, maid, and her son was spending much time with that maid, and her son started speaking in Kannada rather than in Hindi or English or whatever language, because he was spending less time with the parents. So the maid didn't make an attempt to make that boy understand and learn that language. There was no deliberate attempt. So this is the intelligence and the power of a human brain, that we can understand and we can pick up the language, right? But can machine intimate the same thing? So NLP combines the power of linguistic and computer science to study the rule and structure of the language. You all know we have done grammar. We have in Hindi, we have in any language or English, every kind of a language has a grammar. Every kind of a language has a syntax. We have learned that in the school properly, deliberately. But how does the computer learn those rules? How does the computer learn those grammar? How do they understand a particular language and create the intelligent systems which can run on machine learning and NLP and algorithm? And it makes the machine capable of understanding, analyzing, and extracting the meaning from what, whether it's a text or it's a speech. Like how I'm speaking to you, and maybe most of you are able to grasp it, or most of you are in your own world thinking something. That happens naturally. It happens with me also. But how can a computer doesn't have a concentration issue, right? It doesn't have attention span, right? That is the problem with the human brain. So how does a particular computer understand or abstract and analyze the text and speech? That's called NLP. So NLP is used to understand the structure and the meaning of human language by analyzing various aspects like syntax, semantic, pragmatic, emotional, tone of the voice, right? I'll show you a lot of good examples in this. So the computer science transform the linguistic knowledge into a rule-based machine learning algorithm. Understand this, which can solve specific problem and perform desired tasks. So what are the example of that? Where do we see NLP? We see NLP in our day-to-day life. Like for example, translation in Google, the Google translation, you can put any language, any word in any language, and it can, for example, in English, you put and you translate into any other language. It can do that for you. So that is the NLP translations. Then NLP help in detecting fake news. It's not only about understanding the sorry, language syntax and all, but also try to understand whether the news is perfect, like how we do. As we grow older and older, the human brain make us understand certain, like you go to your parents and you tell something, your parents can catch you whether you're telling lies or truth. Most of the time, I'm not saying always, because you may be very smarter than. So your parents can analyze that whether you can speak, you're speaking truth or you're speaking lies. So how can a particular computer analyze and detect fake news? So that is also one example of that. Another example, we can say that this NLP, MIT, they have actually developed a system which can identify whether a source is politically biased or not. Okay. And so based on the accuracy of the source from where the news has come, they are the people who develop the system of identifying the fake news from the source, which is a source from where the news is coming, and whether it is politically biased. Have you seen our news channels, how it is filled? And you can easily tell, okay, fine, you know what, Republic TV is very biased towards Congress, and they are very opposed to BJP. Whereas if you see Aaj Tak and all, they are very, very pro to Modi. They always speak good thing about Modi. They always showcase good thing about Modi. So all these are, this is NLP has a power to analyze that, whether it is politically biased or not. NLP also help in classifying emails. Company like Google, Yahoo, all of them are analyzing the text in your mail for filtering and stopping spams, right? Whether it's a spam mail or it's a genuine mail. NLP can also help in recognizing and predicting, which I'll take a case and show you how it is, that how to predict the patient medical condition and disease on the basis of their own speech. Interesting, isn't it? That how do you listen to a patient and you can analyze his medical condition. Listening to a person, the way the person is speaking, you can, certain people can analyze certain things, right? I'll show you those examples. So one more example I can give you. The Amazon also uses a service called Amazon Comprehend Medical in the medical terminology. I mean, medical AI is widely used. You all know this. So it uses NLP for understanding. This is, I'm talking about Amazon Medical Comprehend Medical app. So what they do is they use NLP for understanding the patient's disease status, the medication treatment, from the patient voice note, the clinical trial report. And this I'm talking about in US. In US and UK, I told you initially also that there's something called medical transcript, where whatever the patient and the doctor is conversing, that is being recorded. And that record also help the doctor in further diagnosing the patient, condition. So this is where the NLP is helping. In finance, how does it help? In finance, the trader are using NLP for tracking news, reports, comment. They get feed. They can understand which particular company is going to gain profit in stock exchange market. So they're using NLP there. Various word processing application like Microsoft Word, Grammarly. I don't know how many of you using Grammarly. I use regularly because we have to write research publication and research articles, and that Grammarly is of big use. So they are using NLP for checking the grammatical error in the text. Call center respond to a customer request, so this is about Google Translator. One by one, sorry, I could not show you the examples. The Google Translator, you write hello, and you can find out how hello is said in various language. Then spotting the fake news, which I told you. Then about how does, the Gmail and all the Yahoo Mail can detect a spam and tell you and label it as a spam. The finance industry is actually using something called predictive analytics, by where they can predict the stock performance from NLP. I have not yet researched on it, but once I research on it truly, I may present a session to you on this also. Then the Grammarly, where these are very useful for people, even for you also, when you are writing any kind of article, or you're filing a patent, or you're writing a research publication, whatever you're doing, even in your report also, you need to know whether your grammars are correct or not, just spelling. So Grammarly is a big help. Nowadays, even Gmail has a Grammarly integration. So whenever you're writing a Gmail, it shows you the grammatical error, and it tells you that you can, basically replace a particular word with a synonym and a better, vocabulary you can use to impress other person. That you can do it with the help of Grammarly. Call center is responding to the customer's request by using NLP in their IVR, interactive voice response applications. Certain organizations are doing something, I'll talk about this, it's called sentiment analysis. Sentiment analysis is where the e-commerce company gather all kinds of comments by the customers, directly given to them as a review, or maybe it is given on a social media site where they talk bad about, suppose, let's say Flipkart, or they talk good about Flipkart, or they talk neutral. Some discussion is going on Twitter, on Facebook, or Instagram. So what they do is, sentiment analysis is a process of gathering and extracting all these data and categorizing into three, a thing, whether the experience of the customer was positive, negative, or it is a neutral from those data. So sentiment analysis is one of the domain of data analytics, but here also we are using NLP. I may, whenever I'm getting a time, I will show you real data analytics. It's not a part of your syllabus, but then you will get a lot of knowledge out of it. That how, the ISKCON temple have used sentiment analysis to analyze what the people who come to the temple think about them, right? Because you know that ISKCON is little commercialized kind of a temple where they sell many things and they earn. So what the customer is thinking, how do they have done this sentiment analysis? I'll show you that data later in some session. So the NLP can get you insight about customer choice, about the views of the product. Then you have the personal assistant like Siri, Cortana, Alexa, or any personal voice assistants. They also use NLP for responding to your command. Sometime you might have seen that, you tell Siri that, Siri, like I will just show you an example. If I can do that, let me show you that I am going to use my phone now. So I'm going to talk to Siri and I will ask a Siri question, a very silly question. Hey Siri, will you marry me?
Look, a bird, probably. Anyway, let's not.
So I'll just ask this question again. So what happens, I ask actually my student to do this exercise where I ask all the students who have iPhones and I say, or maybe they can use some other personal assistant. I say, ask. Now, if a Siri is built on AI, now Siri has not been trained, to answer certain silly questions like this. So everybody in the class, when they ask with silly, will you marry me? Or some silly question, they all get different answers. Sometimes the Siri will say, okay, I'm not your type, this is not in my contract. I don't think, you should be talking to me like this. So it will talk something very, like just human being answering you. So that's where the AI is trying to understand the human speech and the intention behind that, right? So NLP is that. Now let's go to a session of NLP where we can talk about how do we categorize it. So the first categorization is speech to text. When you speak, how does it get converted into proper and correct text with correct syntax, right? So sometimes it happens that we are not able to recognize our own speech. You record, sometimes I'm telling you, take it as my advice. When you're preparing for something or you're saying something, you record it and you hear it. You will be surprised that, oh, am I speaking like this? So have you ever thought that I can just sing very well, and when you're singing to yourself in the bathroom, you will sing that, okay, fine, I my voice resemble Kumar Sanu or Sonu Nigam, or maybe some good singer of your choice. And when you record it and you hear it and you play the alternative song of your favorite singer, you say, oh my God, I really my music doesn't, or my voice is not very good. So what I mean to say is that understanding each word which you have spoken can be a little tricky sometimes for you also. That's why speech recognition is a very big part of artificial intelligence. It is one of those things that we didn't think computer could do initially, long time back, but now they can. They have a lot of limitations. There's a lot of possibilities with natural language processing. And you can also spot where it can be used. Just now we discussed about some of the application. But speech recognition was the first step in natural language processing. And it started with sound picked up by microphone, which are turned into waveform that can look like an earthquake on the seismograph. For example, if you speak a word called butterfly, okay, so you will see this kind of the computer converted it into the signals. This is the voice signal. And then you say something like pumpkin pie. Do you see the difference in the pattern? The kind of a waveform which you can see here, it is going very high and all. Right, you can see this. So you can see they are little similar but quite different. Here, recognizing speech, and here is a the very which looks very close to you but very different. So natural language processing looked at these waveforms and applies an acoustic model to separate voice from the other noise. Like when you're speaking on a phone and you are driving a car, it's the car horn, and sometimes you're speaking from the back, the barking dog, or so many things will come with your sound. So how do you separate the voice from these noises like car horn, barking dog, like this? And then try it best to match that particular waveform to particular word. So what a particular computer does, it converts your speech into these waveforms and separate the voice from the noise, and also convert a particular waveform to a particular word. So when phone first started using voice input, when we had a voice recording, call recording and all, you were instructed that, say 10 to 15 words several times in a row so that the phone could, understand your voice, your accent, your speech pattern. One of the very curious problem data scientists faced at the beginning was that people would talk in their phone as if they are robots. This is a problem. Everybody has a different idea of how a robot will listen. When I'm talking about artificial intelligence, more of the people think about robots. How will robot listen? So how will you speak, and how does it seems to the robots or machines? So the waveform don't look like anything like what you sound like when you speak normally. So this is something which you can do. One more thing which I was understanding that, that's what I told you some time back, that how the robot is the best example of the application of, your AI. If the robot need to listen, respond to you, will it respond and will understand or interpret it in the same way the human being can do? Right. Suppose what happens sometime, you can fool, you call somebody, you play a prank on your friend. You have seen that. I used to normally hear those Mirchi Murga where they can make various kinds of imitate various kinds of a sound and the noise of and the style of a particular actor and talk to them. So you can do that. You can fool your friend by bringing the voice of Amitabh Bachchan from KBC, and you can say, I'm calling from KBC and I'm so and so, and you're calling from different number. You can fool the person if you can imitate the voice. And most of the time, it will happen that sometime your friend will know and will say, no, I know you, that you are not this person, you are this person. So this is the intelligence which human being possess. But will computer know this? How the computer can recognize the source of the voice, the source of the noise. So speaking naturally to your phone, sometime in a day, people can recognize. But when you're speaking in some way, when your throat is not working, or you have such a noisy street, so a lot of back noise, somebody sneezing, lot of disturbance, your voice is not very clear, still you can presume and you can come out with some kind of a thing which we can say Chinese whisper also. When we used to play those games, when somebody is whispering and you can see make out from the movement of the lips that what they are saying. So in the same context, students, when algorithm have to correctly presume that what you are saying, which is not very, very clear, this becomes a very difficult task for them. They don't have that ability. And that particular ability is built with the help of NLP. So now what NLP algorithm does, the algorithm has will separate your voice from the background noise, which I told you, then pull apart each utterance into individual words. And it's a straight shot to turning those waveform, which I have shown you, into text-like thing. Like how a stenographer will take a dictation and type word by word on the stenograph. So voice is a very good way of communicating with a machine. But how does your word which are spoken and what it means is interpreted in the same way by the machine? That's a challenge which we have to take. Okay. And this is where we have something called predictive context-based algorithm, PPM. Okay. And this is the kind of a thing which normally do. I basically do an exercise when I teach NLP where I say, make a list of how do you want to communicate with the computer with your voice, and say some silly things and see how computer is responding with some kind of a software, which I will teach you in the next session, where I will tell you some of the site. Now this time also I'm going to give you some kind of a site, where you can go and try out certain things and see how NLP is working and how does it interpret what you're trying to sell. You can speak in different way you want. So speech recognition actually helps machine understanding what you mean rather than what you say, right? For that, I would like to take, show you one video, which is one of my favorite movie. It's for PK, Amir Khan. I don't know whether you have seen this movie. Actually, everybody has seen this. And then I will take it forward from there. So let's see this.
यहाँ तो बोलते कुछ है पर मतबल कुछ और निकलता है। एक एक शब्द के चार चार मतबल ऐसे मुंडी लाओ और बोलो अच्छा है अच्छा है। मतबल सब ठीक ठाक है, वेरी गुड। आंख बड़ी करके बोलो अच्छा है तो मतलब साफ में है। तुम्हारी अम्मा का एक्सीडेंट हो गया, अच्छा साफ। फिर गुस्सा आता है तो आवाज लॉर्ड हो जाती है, अच्छा हमको सिखा दिया है, अच्छा।
Okay, so here what I was trying to show you is that human language or human speech is very complex in nature. And the way we speak, the tone, and one particular word can mean so many things. The way we try to tell the other person, the other person understand because our speech, our conversation is always embedded, or you can see wrapped in our emotions, how we are feeling. But the computer doesn't understand those emotions, right? So how do you turn a text to meaning? So computers are actually getting better at figuring out which words are spoken and what does it mean actually, rather than just literally finding out the meaning of that word. Then the computer actually has a very much harder task, which also require a lot of intimating the human brain power to understand what actually literally you are meaning. Like for example, one more example I'll give you. I think 4 or 5 years back when Maharashtra election was happening, at that time, somebody tweeted that after election, that Maharashtra election results have become something like ordering and placing an order on Amazon and not getting delivered. Now, every company, especially e-commerce company, has a social response bot, social site bots. So social site bot picked up this particular comment and they are supposed to respond. So it responded, "We are very sorry for the inconvenience caused to you. Please forgive it. We will try to, satisfy you and get back to you on this." So it didn't understand literally the person is using a simile to, give a kind of example and relate it. So what I'm trying to tell you is that computer doesn't know. It will take what you are saying and literally get a meaning of that, like how it should mean. So this is where the NLP is working very nicely. So it's a field that has a lot of opportunity. For example, there are a lot of different ways to, as I said, to say the same thing. There are many alternative methods to communicate the different similar messages. Some people use for the same kind of a thing, a lot of words, right? We have for one particular thing, you can have 4 or 5 words, or maybe one word can have several meanings, different meanings. So you can have this, so you can understand that all these statements, sometimes most of the statements mean the same thing. Sometimes the one particular statement can mean different thing to different people. Like when you also understand. So when we, let's take an example of a 13-year-old boy who says certain movie is sick. The way the today's generation say, the movie is sick. But actually, when you say the 13-year-old boy is saying, wow, movie is sick, you, other person, the older person like me will understand, oh, he didn't like it. But actually, he may mean it that he liked it. Same thing when a 93-year-old person will say, movie is sick. That means it can be ultra violent, lot of sexual content, lot of bad languages. He means sick. For him, sick means bad. But for a 13-year-old boy, same thing. Movie is sick means cool. Very good movie. So it's the same movie, or it's the same whatever. So for you, the decipher, this is a decipher. And you can sometimes understand depending on the age and personality of the person, but not so easy for machines. So the machine need to be trained. So you start with something called corpus. The corpus is a very large, well-documented, structured set of text for validating linguistic rules. It's an ultra-meta dictionary. Now, what do you mean by structured? Structure means that the phrases and the sentences are fragmented, are annotated, and labeled by humans, starting with whether a word is a noun, verb, adjective, and also going all the way to tell the computer that a cool cat is a hip person, not a frigid feline. When you say, you are a cool cat. I just was seeing some Instagram post of some of my student, and she said, she looks like a cool cat in the entire crowd. And I was thinking, what is this cool cat? And when the person, and then I understood, the cool cat means that a very cool person, very hip person. But for person like me, it will feel, oh, maybe cat means very fragile, or maybe some other meaning to it. So what the structure means that this has a collection of words, phrases, meaning. Computer can do a kind of a statistical analysis. How the computer do a statistical analysis of a particular sentence? It break a sentence into fragment and then try to understand. For example, the farmer gave vegetable. Now, the farmer gave kids their fresh vegetables. So what they do is they break each word, and these word and the phrases, they can do a statistical analysis, and it can look at those, kind of a thing. And it will say, for example, this word, which sentence I'm taking, the farmer gave fresh vegetable to their kids. The computer is doing the same thing. What it is doing, it's the words and sentences, and the entire thing is divided, and then it is categorized, whether it's a pronoun, it's a noun, it's a verb, whether it is written perfectly, what does it interpret. And if it is written, it is very easy because there is no emotion wrapped into it. So you can say, okay, fine, this is a simple sentence where it's saying that it means the same thing what literally it is written, that the farmer is given the fresh vegetables to the kids. But when you are speaking and you say, you know what, that farmer, no, he gave the fresh vegetables to the kids. So the person will understand the context of it and say, okay, fine, maybe the farmer needed a money, but still he was very kind and he gave it. So this is where the NLP has to work. It has to come out with a kind of understanding that what words are being spoken and what does it literally mean. A new way of interpreting what people mean are getting invented day by day. There is a wide area open for people to do research. There are a lot of people. NLP is not only for the technical people. There are a lot of people who are diving into linguistics, statistical modeling, and computer science. So there are people from the art backgrounds who are coming up with structure modeling, which can be applied in the algorithm to make computer understand the natural language as the human being understand and process it. So Procter & Gamble, Sears, BMW, NASA, all of them are actually working a lot on the NLP, where they can, make their product use the voice command and respond to it accordingly. So one more, application of NLP, which I want to tell you, is the sentiment analysis. So sentiment analysis, just a minute. So, for example, if I ask you a question like, how are you? It's a very common asked question. We ask each other when we meet each other. Hi, how are you? Right. Many people can give answer. Most of them will say, yeah, I'm fine. How are you? Like this. Some people can say fantastic. Some people say could be better. Some people say great. And say, okay, not bad. I'm all right. Okay, I'm just hanging in here. So many answers can be there for one particular question, right? But is it really so simple for computer to tell the difference between fine, great, pretty good, okay, the degree at which we are saying? Okay, great, fine, I'm all right, not so good, great. We can put it into one particular group and say that this means good, it's positive. That means all these words mean positive. And something like not bad, can be better, terrible, not so great. All these can be grouped into negative. So machines are using something called sentiment analysis now. The sentiment analysis, sentiment as we know that is an attitude which can be judged by us from the feeling and meaning behind the word, not the word itself. That's called sentiment, right? So it's rather connotation than denotation. So human beings are very perceptive of sentiment actually. That's our emotional intelligence, right? The computer can't have emotions, can't have emotional intelligence. Maybe there can be a computer which can have the emotional understanding of human being and can recognize the sentiment. But currently, the difficulty in working exactly what the word means is a kind of a haze. So that's where, as I said, the sentiment is an attitude, it's a thought, it's a judgment, which basically make a person understand what is behind the word. Okay, so I'll just give you one example here. It's a very famous example. If somebody comes and say, excuse me, while I kiss the sky, right? This is actually a kind of a song where the song was actually singing, the lyrics was, excuse me while I kiss the sky. The way it was sang and the accent which was used, most of the people initially thought that the song is, excuse me while I kiss this guy. So dialect was, excuse me, I kiss the sky. But the way it was sing, most of the people thought it was like, why I kiss the guy. And this is a long time back song. It's like at that time, the LGBT was not so, evolved. People were not talking much about it. Today, people will not think much about it. But at the time, people started making humor. How can they sing a song like this? Similarly, in some places, people called, soft drink soda. Like in Europe, they don't call it soft drink. They say soda. In India, we call it soda. Some people in some places call it soda pop. In some country, like in US, initially people used to call it Coke. They never used to call it soft drink. Any soft drink is Coke. In India, we call it soft drink. Right? Hard drink, soft drink, like this. Be categorized. So depending on where you are in the country, you will be referring a kind of a beverage with a particular kind of a style. You will adopt that because people won't understand if you go in America and say, I want soft drink. I still remember when we went to Europe and we went to the certain restaurants and me and my family and we wanted to buy water. And we went and we said, can we have a bottle of water? And they said, water, do you want, what they said, yeah, do you want frizzling water? Do you want distilled water? Something like that they said. And we were not able to understand actually. Because they don't call it like that. If we go and tell them that, okay, fine, do you have a soft drink? They said, hey, what is soft drink? So that's how they are. So there's a trouble with interpreting certain kind of idioms also, right? For example, sometimes you say that going on a wild goose chase, judging a book by its cover. Don't judge a book by its cover. What does it mean? For you, you will understand because you have heard it. Or maybe somebody said, don't pull his leg. You will understand that. So then we get to the fact like something human like communicating their feelings. Right. So there's a significant difference the way the computer interpret a sentence or recognize a sentiments. And this difference comes from the choice of the word, the inflection, and the idioms which you use, right? So inflections can be, for example, you say that I like cat, but I love dogs. What does it mean? That I like cat, I don't want to keep it, but I love cat. Like and love, slight difference, right? So that's called inflection. Idioms, as I just told you that 13-year-old saying movie was sick, and a 93-year-old person, or maybe a 60-year-old person saying movie sick means sick only, that it is bad. So this is where the trouble coming nowadays. And sometimes it happens when we have Siri or Cortana or any personal assistants, where you are using all these kinds of the word to talk. When people are going online and speaking certain words, nowadays young generation use a lot of memes, or I'm sorry, a lot of shortcuts, or the words which mean something, lol, or so many things. I know only few of it, but when they say all these kinds of things, and the computer, how does the computer understand? Because it's just a short form of something, and it can mean anything. Does the computer need a dictionary? Or even it is, for us also it's difficult. If we know the word, know the shortcut, we will understand that. So the computer need to have those kinds of a dictionary. Sometime when we write in the social networking site, I'm talking about sentiment analysis. In the social networking site, when we are picking something which is related to your company, and somebody speaking about your product and trying to analyze whether it is good, bad, or neutral, then at that time, the computer has to first understand what the person is meaning. So sometimes the way the person write, that's called written, words. He may write certain words which can be Hindi or mix of languages. I'm so sorry, I'm always saying Hindi. It can be the mix of languages you are using. I still remember when long time back, I think 2013 or 14, 15, I don't remember exactly the date. And at the time, Instagram was not there. It was not very popular in India. And fake was very in thing. So I was in a Facebook and I came across that there is something which is getting viral. And my students also said, ma'am, you see this, there's something got very viral on this social. And I also went and I saw a word, Kolavaridi. And I said, what is this Kolavaridi? I've never heard about this word. I said, maybe a place or something. And it was written that, in a teaser. So Kolavar, what is Kolavaridi? So I was like, okay, fine, what it is. And then I click on it and I hear the song, which was sang by a famous South Indian actor. And I was saying, okay, fine. And everybody said the song became very viral. And everybody knew, okay, fine, what is Kolavari? So this is how the customers or the service representative or a person, when they go on a social site, they may write certain kinds of words, maybe in the shortcut, maybe they mix up the language, the grammatical errors will be there. They may write so many things. So how do you analyze those statements and categorize into positive, negative, and neutral? By literally understanding what customer means. Right? A particular customer representative in the call center, when they read your mail, and because he's a person, he may understand from the way you have written the mail, whether you are happy or you are very mad at that call center about the product. But can computer do that? So how are Twitter, using in Ohio feeling about elections? Have you heard about that? No? So how about feedback from a medical patient who feel about the treatment? So the company basically nowadays, students use voice response system, which also they call support, to find out whether a customer is really happy or not. So all the call center with calls which are recorded are basically using NLP, are analyzed to find out that how many customers called them, had a negative feeling towards the company product, and how many had positive and how many were neutral. Even the device like chatbox or marketing analytic tools our industries are adopting, they're also using AI and NLP, E-commerce companies are using AI. And one of the major application of AI is sentiment analysis, where they interpret what a particular customer really means and put it into a category. So let's take some example of NLP in healthcare. So NLP in the healthcare is actually improving the medical care and the patient's experience. Natural language processing is actually touching all the aspect of medical industry. It is making the patient journey very, very caring, and the diagnosis is becoming very, very easy now. Certain cases of NLP in the healthcare where machine language or learning models are also used to get a better insight on the patient experience, the patient conditions, the patient test, and all those things are there. So let's see some example over here. These are the where we use NLP nowadays. And NLP basically allow the ML engine to understand the human language with a lot of complexity, which I have explained you enough, right? The kind of complexity which we have, the grammatical syntax, the tone, the word, the meaning, and all those kinds. So one of the major application of NLP in the hospital industry or in the medical industry is clinical documentation. So we have discussed about electronic health record, EHR. EHR is something which every company, even in India, is doing now. All hospitals are doing. It's a very time consuming and a very laborious job. The hospitals are spending a lot of time in maintaining these records. And what they're doing is, with the help of NLP, the doctors now can get more quality time on their hand to invest in value building tasks. How they are doing it? Now doctor can take down the patient notes using speech to text, which makes data entry much easier. Initially, what used to happen, whatever doctor is saying, whatever he is prescribing, everything is written in the paper and then it has to be scanned. And sometimes doctor goes and dictate, exactly you'll not tell, and you have to type. So all manual entry was there. Now what is happening? Whenever this is happening in Western countries, where the patient is speaking to the doctor and there is a recording which happens, and this recording will record the conversation between doctor and the patient. And what happens, whatever the patient is telling, I'm getting pain here, this is my symptoms, that's my symptom, all these are converted into text and entered into and documented, which helps the doctor later to listen to that and then understand better that, what can be the problem of the patient. So a typical patient record can contain lot of healthcare data. This can be unstructured data. It can be sometimes the patient give a feedback also, which can become a very useful data, or it can give a lot of insight about the patient's experience. And the doctor can say, okay, fine, the patient is not happy with this particular kind of treatment, or maybe the medicines which we are prescribing, it is not helping because the medicines are launched by the pharmaceutical company, which are basically told to the doctor by the medical representative. Medical representative go and influence doctors to sell that. And when the doctor feel, no, this particular medicine is not helping much, through the patient experience and the feedback, they can actually help the patient in getting the better treatment. NLP is also helping in data mining in healthcare. The massive amount of patient data, their reports, their conversation, their feedback. So NLP basically shows a great promise in identifying the gap in the performance, the care you can take and give a patient a better experience. That's where the NLP is getting used. So NLP is mostly used to analyze the post-treatment the feedback, the post-treatment feedback, during the treatment progress. Even sometimes certain big hospitals like private hospitals and all, they use the social media post to understand whether they are actually giving a good experience or how the patients are talking about them in the social media. Through sentiment analysis, they can extract those and can understand, analyze whether it is positive or negative. So this is basically helping them in improving their experience, improving the patient health. Even there's something called predictive analysis. So a very interesting case of NLP is predictive. So analyzing the root cause of any disease or analyzing the other things which the patient is not telling you. There are so many things which the patient doesn't know. He can tell you about, like for example, the cancer. So the patient, whatever symptom the patient has, he can just come and give you some symptoms. And when you record that and you hear it and try to use NLP, the NLP will try to find out that there can be few things which is the patient when he's telling can be added to it to analyze further that it can be more than what patient is saying. So this is something which NLP is doing. NLP is also used in the clinical trial matching. So with the help of NLP, the doctor can now review large quantity of unstructured clinical data and recognize the eligible candidates to table for clinical trials. You know, when COVID-19 has hit us, at that time, they had to try the medicines or the vaccinations, treatment with some on clinical trials. So they can understand that who are the perfect match for clinical trials. It can help the pharmaceutical company and medical industry in research and development of medications and giving a better experience. So this is where it is used, as I told you already, that social media posts, most of the companies are looking into it. There are a lot of things which companies are doing. Now let's look into how the best thing is about NLP is, one thing which we discussed so far is that how the machine understand human language, how the machine understand what human being mean. Now we have to understand also that how AI intimate human speech. Can they intimate everything, how the people think or how the people talk? For example, when your car goes beep, beep, beep. When you started your car, the car is saying beep, beep, it's giving a signal. You immediately understand, oh, I have not put my seat belt, and you put the seat belt. Similarly, let's say your oven also give a beep, beep sound. Same sound what car is giving. You suppose your machine, washing machine, not oven. So you feel, so, oh, I have not put the detergent, or maybe the water is not connected. So there is some problem. That's the reason why this machine is telling me that there is a problem. Right? So you understand that. So similarly, these are the machines only which are speaking to you, which are telling you, trying to tell you something. They can't, the washing machine can't tell you, hey, don't go from here. You have not run the water, you forgot. And the car will not say, you can make it say like that. So if you want to use NLP or AI, you have to make the car or the machine speak to you the way the human being can speak to you and make you understand, right? So now we want the computer to learn to speak any language of your choice. And that's a complicated problem. It's very frustrating also. When you speak to Siri and Alexa or sometime Google, you will sometimes get very frustrated because the way you talk and the way they respond to you is not matching. So there was one person called Alan Turing. Maybe you've heard about Turing test. He, long time back, actually was a person who wrote a research article, and he wrote the first time that can machine think? And in his paper, he wrote about thinking machines in 1950s. At that time, the computer was also underdeveloped. And he developed a test which is today called Turing test. Turing test is a test where it's a setup where one person is in the room with a terminal, and there are two other rooms where he's communicating. In one room, machine is kept. In another room, a person is kept. So the test is to whether the computer in the other room can fool the tester to make him think that he is talking to a human being, not to a machine. Right? So you have chatted enough with the chatbots. Sometimes you call a call center. You never know you are not talking to a person. You are talking to a voice recorder, or you are talking to a machine. So human speech is, as I told you, that it's a mix of a complex mix of vocabulary, grammar, tone, context, emotions, inflection, so many things. Those are a lot of things which you have. Can we make computer do that? Right. So, like for example, listen to this particular sentence where I say, I never said she stole my money. These are 7-word sentence which can have 7 different meaning depending on where you put the emphasis. You say, I never said, right? 1 minute. So you say, I never said she stole my money. Then you say, I never said she stole mine. You break the sentence again and say, I never said she did. I never said she stole. I never said. So you can break this sentence and mean the same thing. And a person will understand. That's why the robot, when they have to say in the same way, the entire thing. I never said she stole my money. So if you want the robots or the machines to imitate the way the human beings are speaking with all kind of nuisance, then 1 minute. Then you have to bridge the gap, right? And so you have to do this. For instance, IBM Watson, you can go to the site. The site is ibm.com demo. And this is a site where you can convert a speech into voice. And you can hear that particular word into different accent. Like for American, Indian, British. So IBM Watson text-to-speech voice test. You can see that in this particular site, when I went, I saw that artificial intelligence is actually becoming better now. Because the AI is not actually here, what is it, just a bunch of instructions, or you put certain rules of linguistic or grammar or syntax into the machine to learn out of it. But here the computer is also understanding every word and try to simulate in the same way. So same way, what I've seen one of the video, I could not download that video, where it shows that when a person is making a robot speak like him, right? So he's actually, when there was one more example where the Alexa was trying to imitate and speak the way Amitabh Bachchan speaks. So in the morning, the Amitabh Bachchan say, hey, wake up. So how Amitabh Bachchan speaks, how he uses his accent, his voice, his tone, his personality is reflected in his the way he speaks. All these things they wanted. Now they can't make Amitabh speak all word and make a dictionary, make a kind of a corpus, which we said, and embed so that whenever anybody ask anything, it abstract or search and extract everything from the corpus and say that, which is recorded in Amitabh Bachchan voice. So you can't record everything. So they wanted to create a voice which looks similar to Amitabh Bachchan, but has the same tone, same way, and it reflects the same personality. And they were actually very successful in that. And everybody thought that it is actually the Amitabh Bachchan who's speaking like that. So Google Duplex is one more example here. The Google Duplex, you can go to the Google Duplex and you can just fool anybody by speaking to Google Duplex, and you can actually duplicate the voice of anyone. So you speak in your voice and you select a person, a particular actor. And whatever you have spoken, that particular actor, what you have chosen, or any celebrity or any politician or whatever, like suppose I want to speak like Modi now, the way the Modi speak. I want to imitate that. So what I do is I just take a word and I imitate that, and I record in my voice, and I select Modi, and it translate and it speak in the behalf of Modi, then the same way that Modi would have spoken that. So this is where the Google Duplex work, right? And it is using NLP for that. So the virtual Google Assistant is also there, where you can convert any voice into anybody else's voice. So that's for fun. So now we were talking about speech to text. Now let's talk about writing to text. How the AI make writing a very easy tool. So normally the most challenging job for the computer is to understand the speech and convert the speech into text. They have a trouble the way human beings speak, the complexity in that. But it is very easy for them to understand possibly what you have written and what does it mean. So it's an easier problem than the speech. So written word doesn't have the inflection, it doesn't have tone, it doesn't have accent. It is much easier for the computer to make sense and imitate what it means. This means that AI writing is a tool that you can utilize yourself right now. You can find a place where you can help your work making more smarter, like Grammarly, I said. They use NLP to make your document or the article which you have written with good vocabulary, good grammar, good syntax, good, paraphrased it. Normally, when we are writing some article, we want to copy from somewhere, but there's a plagiarism issue. So that we can do the paraphrasing with some AI tools. We can help you in doing that. So AI can also nowadays use to read a lot of tons and tons of articles and summarize the text. This is one of the major application which is happening in the media industry, where or in the research industry, where it is not possible for a human being to basically read a lot of research article and then summarize in all those articles into one article. The AI is making the job easy. It picks up all the main ideas, try to compare the common ideas between all these thousands and lakhs of articles on the same topic and summarize it beautifully for you, right? So what you have to do is you just have to give the list of the pages and the link of the pages, and the AI assistants will try to even go ahead and find a needle in the haystack. So that's how the AI is doing that. And something in the AI which we can, and even if it is not necessary that it should be in the same language, you get a topic which is the article is written in French or the article is written in Spanish. So for you, it is not, you can't read that. You don't know how to translate that. But somebody tells you, okay, fine, one Russian particular person has written a good article, but it is Russian. So how do you do it? So AI can help you there. The NLP can help you there. It can take all those similar articles and extract the similar ideas or differentiate the ideas, take the main ideas, summarize it and write it for you. So that's called Generative Pre-trained Transformer 3 or GPT-3. Generative Pre-trained Transformer 3. Remember this word, right? Students, whatever these terminologies I'm telling, these are very useful for you when you're working in the organization. So GPT-3 is a well-known capability which actually produces human-like text. So the quality is very high. It's hard to differentiate the way a human being will write and a way a machine will write. There was one article in The Guardian, and it was talking about how the article was written by an algorithm that was instructed to write an article to convince human being not to be afraid of. That means the computers, and there's a question which came into the mind of the people that, okay, fine, the computer can summarize text. It can write an article for summarizing and reading and researching. All things, what is a limitation of human being, it can overcome that. But what about the funny part of the human thing? Can it be artistic and creative like a poet? Can it write a poem? Can it write a joke? And a joke which can be understood by a 6-year-old, or a 19-year-old or 25, 36-year-old person. Today, the systems can quite understand these questions, right? So the AI and NLP has made it possible to do what a human writer can do. Come out with the creativity with human writer can do. So if you see, this is a site where you can go. It's called AI Writer site, okay? AIWriter.app. This is a one where you can just go and you can just write like Isaac Newton or Austin or Andrew Mine. You can like them write, use rich vocabulary and make your, sometime when you're writing some post and posting it on a social networking site, most of you struggle to find the hashtag. Most of you struggle to find out what should be your line on the post. And you search net for that. And you try to, some of you are very, very creative. You don't have to search, you write your original lines. So the computer, the AI and NLP is doing the same thing. It is becoming more creative like us. And it is doing many, many things which the human being are capable of doing it. The creative part of it, the, that kind of a bandwidth a particular company or a particular AI can show you. So that's a AI idea.
Thanks to machine learning,
Just a minute. So now what we can going to do is we're going to just see one video and then we will go ahead with NLP.
Thanks to machine learning, we can extract knowledge from medical records, call center conversations, medical voice sound bites, medical forms, regulatory filings, research reports, insurance claims, pharmaceutical documentation, and more. This ultimately helps doctors and care teams get holistic views of their patients quickly, or health plans to see population trends for their members, or pharma to draw insights from drug development research. This is possible thanks to a field known as natural language processing, which is concerned with programming computers to process and analyze large bodies of human communication that can live in many different formats, such as written text, spoken utterances, or even official documentation. And so in this episode, we will share how organizations can use one of Google's natural language services to specifically help process structured and unstructured healthcare language data using NLP, which stands for natural language processing. The Healthcare Natural Language API contains 4 key features that help you find, assess, and link knowledge in your data in the following ways. For one, it has the ability to map text to medical concepts, which is referred to as knowledge extraction. It also identifies and connects related medical attributes, which is known as relation extraction. It can also assess surrounding factors that could be clinically relevant, known as context assessment, and standardizes medical concepts so they can be analyzed across systems, known as knowledge linking. Another way of thinking about NLP is that it can extract critical clinical information like medications, medical conditions, as well as understand context like negation, such as this patient does not have diabetes. It also understands temporality, such as this patient will start chemotherapy tomorrow, and even infer there are relationships between things such as side effects or medication dosage. And what's most notable is we have a long list of ontologies the natural language models are trained with. 2 notable ones are the ICD, which is used to code and classify morbidity data from inpatient and outpatient records, physician offices, and most National Center for Health Statistics surveys. There's also SNOMED clinical terms, which provides core terminology of electronic health records. The models also include US official codes for insurance procedures and RX Norm, which contains a list of all medications available. Technical practitioners can leverage healthcare NLP to build apps for their own organization or for their entire industry, such as enabling precise search and discoverability across patient populations, enable exchange of digital healthcare information and avoid processing delays, establish and maintain regulatory compliance, or automate administrative workflows such as identifying and eliminating errors that require corrective activities. anyone who has science-based text around research or clinical data can get value from our Healthcare NLP API. Here are a few sectors that can benefit, to name a few. In telehealth, you now have off-the-shelf support for exchanging medical knowledge captured in written form and can extract structured knowledge from text and make it available for digital services such as chatbots, call centers, clinical decision support systems. This also frees up time by triaging patient calls and resolving cases that do not require the intervention of a clinical professional. Pharmaceutical researchers are also enabled via a standard patient discovery interface for population health and R&D applications, since papers and clinical trial documentation can be surfaced to match patients or find novel treatments. Those managing clinical trials can both increase their number of participants as well as process the high volume of feedback and decrease time to government approval. Users who manage billing, especially in insurance companies, can have even better integration with claims payment or automate billing and coding for insurance. You can enable the Healthcare NLP from your Google Cloud Projects UI or via the command line. If you do not have a project, there's a link in the description along with other helpful resources. And once you have set up permissions, you can begin using its context-aware models to extract medical entities, relations, and contextual attributes. Each text entity is extracted into a medical dictionary entry. To extract medical text, make a post request and specify the following information in the request. First, the name of the parent service, including the project ID and location. Also, the target text. The maximum size is 10,000 Unicode characters at this time. Let's quickly show you how you can leverage the Natural Language Healthcare API.
We built a demo application with a JavaScript front end to visually understand the output of the Healthcare NLP API. Let's test out the sample medical record for a hospital patient. We send over the sample medical text to the API on the back end, and we render the JSON response in this web app. In the first panel down here, we can see the various entities extracted and their corresponding medical code. Next, we can see their diagnoses with their corresponding confidence scores. Now, looking at the relationships between the entities, we can actually group together important attributes. For example, take a look at how long and how much of these medications are taken or were prescribed.
There are so many possibilities when using Healthcare NLP, and especially when you pair it with Google services such as Dialogflow AI for a chatbot interface. You can even build custom models to build low-code apps using AutoML entity extraction for healthcare so that users can simply upload documents and then perform manual annotations to train and build a model on what they would like to extract. This can then be integrated into larger data pipelines. You can also use Document AI to process fax documents or enable enterprise search for life science organizations using the Google Knowledge Graph. To learn more about the Healthcare Natural Language API, you can visit cloud.google.com, Healthcare Docs Concepts NLP. And community, if you found this episode helpful, please subscribe to the channel to get notifications of more healthcare episodes. Cheers.
So you can just go to this particular site and you can check that, this particular site is there. So cloud.google.com healthcare.concept NLP, and you can check the applications. Now let's look into some of the models on which the NLP is built on, right? So when we look at those models, just a minute, I'll just give me a few seconds. Okay, sorry for this. So let's see how NLP work actually. So when we provide a text to computer as an input, it runs actually various algorithms to understand the meaning associated with it. And there are 5 steps included in NLP, which is lexical analysis, syntax analysis, semantic analysis, discourse integration, and pragmatic analysis. What is lexical analysis? Lexical analysis is the entire input text into words, sentence, and paragraphs. That means breaking the entire speech into word, sentence, and paragraph. And NLP identify and analyze the structure of the word in the sentence, whether it's noun, pronoun, and all those. Syntax analysis is a process called parsing. And in this step, the syntax analyzer will check the input text for grammatical error, right? Syntax means grammar. In the coding also, you have syntax. So the words are arranged in the way, is there any relation? Is it the proper kind of a sentence? Is written grammatically correct or not? Then is a semantic analysis. In this, the NLP check whether the text hold a meaning or not. It tried to decipher the accurate meaning of the text, right? Like, for example, the semantic analyzer will reject a sentence like dry water. Can water be dry? So this kinds of things it tried to understand. Discourse integration. This means the meaning of any sentence is actually affected by the preceding sentence. That means the first sentence is affected by the next sentence. Thus, in this step, it figure out the meaning of immediately preceding and succeeding step. That means the sentence before that particular sentence and after that sentence. Then is pragmatic analysis. In this, it analyze the text which is integrated with the real world knowledge and try to extract actual meaning of the text. Among all these 5 methods, syntax analysis and semantic analysis plays a major role in NLP. Right. So this is, let's also understand the other way of how the NLP work. So NLP work using something called text vectorization. NLP tool transform text into something a machine can understand. When machine learning algorithm are fed, training data or expected certain kind of output to train machine to, which are called tags also, to make association between a particular input and a corresponding output. So machine, what they do is they use statistical analysis method to build their own knowledge bank, where this is where the machine learning is used, and discern the features which represent text and anything which is not presented in the form of the text, anything which is missing. So whenever the NLP algorithm are fed, the more data is fed, the more accurate is the result. Sentiment analysis, as I have already told you, is a most popular, the NLP. This is how it basically goes. Task. So where the machine learning models are trained to classify the text into opinion, which I already told you. The opinion can be positive, negative, neutral, or anything. So we can go to a site called monkeylearn.com /natural language processing. And we can see some sentiment analysis. I will show you that. I will take you to the site. And I can see that how machine learning, where it breaks down the human language into machine readable chunks. So that's called syntactic analysis, and also called parsing, PARSING. And also there is a tree which it makes. This is how it looks. And this is called, the diagram is called parse tree, right? Like the entire sentence broken into single word. And this is also called tokenization. So tokenization is an essential task in machine language NLP, which breaks up a string of word into semantically useful unit called tokens. All these are tokens. This is one token. This is one token. So sentence tokenization splits sentence into text. Word tokenization split word within a text. So generally the word tokens are, separated by a blank space, and sentence tokens are separated by stops. Like how does a particular sentence end? It ends with a stop or maybe a comma or semicolon and all. So you can perform a high level tokenization in more complex structures where you can separate words or you can separate sentence, right? You can see how it is done. And then you can analyze each word is what kind of syntax it has, like why is adverb, not, all these kinds of things you can do. So this is one of the example of the tokenization, how it simplifies the text for machines. So this is how the, the part of the speech, the tagging, this is called tagging of the speech. The POS tagging is where the every particular word is within the thing are tagged as the form of the grammar, like verb, adjective, noun, pronoun, conjunction, preposition, intersections, right? So like this is an adverb, someone is a noun, this is a punctuation mark, like this. This is called the POS tagging, okay? The part of speech tagging. Then we also have something, so this is how one more example of tagging. Then we have something called dependency parsing. Dependency grammar is where the words in the sentences are connected. So the head word will be there and there will be a word which is connected to that. So that's called dependency. Then we have something called lemmatization and stemming. When we speak a word or write, there are a lot of words which are grammatically, forms which we have to use. For example, like this, playing, plays, played. So different forms of grammatical form of one particular word. Okay. And this is how the boys' cars are different colors. The boy car can be different color. So this is how the lemmatization stepping helps, where the root word is play. Here also, if you can see, the root word is different, which can be used in a different way. So they basically took out in lemmatization and stemming a root word and try to play around with the grammar and see whether it's a correct formation of sentence or not. Okay. So this is also an example of lemmatization and stemming. So here, if you can see, the root word in the lemmatization is also called lemma, right? Like for example, one more example I will show you. Just a minute. Yeah, if you see this particular thing where the root word is a lemma, this is called the play. I'm so sorry. And if you can see here, the example which is trimming the word and trying to cut the word as am, are, is as a B root word. Car, cars, and all these as a root word as called car. So this is how the lemmatization happens. Then there is something called stop word removal. This is how the stop word removal happens. Stop word removal is removing the stop word where a particular sentence ends. So it basically filter out a high frequency word or a word at which the sentence starts or it ends, right? For example, here, if you can see here. So when I'm writing this particular sentence where, the something is, this is not the example. Just a minute. The stop word can be analyzed using a particular punctuation mark, like comma, full stop, question mark, or it can be analyzed using a words like which are questioning, W, who, what, why, we, all those kinds of words can be used as a kind of a thing to track and tell the particular machine that this is a starting of the sentence, this is the end of the sentence. Okay, so this is the this is what called lemmatization and this is called stop word removal, that how does a particular thing does. Then there is something else also which is called word sense disambiguation. The word sense disambiguation is that where it tried to classify the text. How does it classify the text? It classifies whether the text is related to which field, whether it is related to art, which is related to business, is it related to culture? So classification of that. Okay, so that's called word sense disambiguation. You must be thinking that why I'm telling you all these things, because this is also a part when you are writing a coding on NLP, you have to understand all these terminologies. I will send you a document, maybe not this week, next week, and prepare a document and send you all these kinds of terminologies. If you are doing AI and if you want to learn it fully, then you need to know NLP. And if you want to know NLP, you need to know these linguistic terminologies. Then there's something else called name entity recognition, NER. It's one of the most popular tasks which semantic analysis does. That means extracting the, NLT, just like I'll show you. It's all jumbled. It's not in a proper order. That's why it's not coming here. Yeah, see here. This is called name entity recognition, where the Barack Obama, August is the name of a month, American is the name of a particular country, United States, January is the name of the month. All these are actually the entity like name, place, organization and all, it segregate that. So this is how it basically tried to segregate. So you have written here born. So it tried to segregate that name from that word born and understand the place and the names of that. So this is one thing. And then comes the text classification. As I already told that it classifies the text and organize and give a tag to it. And it gives a tag whether this word or this particular article or sentence or group of sentences belonging to which particular topic in which field, like art, business, culture, or entertainment. So this is where it is. Let's see one more video.
Energy companies want to improve operations and keep their employees safe. But it is never easy. Machinery breaks and someone has to go fix it. Picture yourself 200 feet in the air on an icy oil rig. These repairs are not only expensive, but also dangerous. Now, companies know that by better analyzing their data, they can improve their operations, thereby saving money and keeping their employees safer. But there's a challenge. Only 20% of the data needed for this analysis is in a structured format, like spreadsheets or databases. That's data that computers can easily use. The other 80% of it is in the form of text, like repair manuals, injury reports, and notes jotted down by technicians. This information is extremely valuable, but due to its size and structure, it has largely been invisible to analytics teams. Imagine you're searching a database of injury reports. You want to find lower body injuries. What do you search? Analysis from one large utility company showed that lower body injuries returned only a small number of results, far fewer than existed in reality. That's because their search tool was looking for the exact keywords, lower body injuries. But when the analysts used more specific search terms, like foot injuries, that returned many more results, where foot was used in the context of distance. So while they had more results than searching for just lower body injuries, they weren't the results they wanted. This was because a foot can be both a body part and a unit of measurement. And while humans can determine context and know the difference, until recently, computers were largely stumped. Thanks to this field of AI, called natural language processing, computers can now analyze and understand textual data. In case you're curious, here's how natural language processing works at a high level. NLP algorithms can't read text like we do, but they can look for patterns, and they find these patterns by turning huge amounts of text into matrices. When analyzing text, the algorithm might first remove words that don't really offer us much value, stuff like a, the, is, and are. These are called stop words. Then the algorithm might split the sentences into groups of words and count how many times each group of words appears in each document. and how many documents have that group of words out of all the documents being analyzed. Without knowing anything at all about the text, the algorithm can then tell how often a given word or phrase appears in a given document, and how many documents contain that phrase out of all of the documents. So tokens that appear lots of times in lots of documents may not mean much, but tokens that appear frequently in only a few documents tell us that something's going on. For example, if we fed injury reports across all of our oil wells into this basic algorithm, and we see that falling debris injuries are clustered around reports from rigs in the Gulf of Mexico, we might then know about a new piece of machinery or process or environmental condition or something else that is causing injuries before management hears about it. Now, this is just a basic example. When combining vast amounts of data and advanced NLP algorithms developed at Spark Cognition, our customers are seeing tremendous improvements in operational efficiency and safety. Wind turbine operators are finding answers that previous solutions missed. Spark Cognition finds the meaning in the data and makes that available. Oil and gas operators are able to ask natural language questions when performing diagnostics before repairs. So with advanced technology like Deep NLP from Spark Cognition, you can now unlock the value of your unstructured data. Every email, every maintenance log, and every injury report become actionable insights that can drive revenue and reduce costs. And it's not just the energy industry that can harness the power of Deep NLP. If you want to learn more about how Spark Cognition can help you generate value from your unstructured data, please keep reading at sparkcognition.com.
Okay, so that was one of the example. Let's look into the, okay, so here I end. I will just take you through the one of the site and then I'll take the questions. Just give me a few seconds. I'll just go to one of the site and show you some example. Just give me a few seconds. So you can see this is one site on Monkey-Learn, and this is basically a topic on NLP and NLP techniques and some NLP examples if you see here. There's some example email filtering, all those are there in this. I'll just put this site in the chat box. Okay, fine, later I'll put online search engine. You can, I just want you people to go through this and see. Then be feedback classification and all those kinds of things are there here. And so let's see. There's also something which I will take up in the next sessions, not next to next session, which is on with no code tool. So this is no code text analytics. You can sign up on this and we can just have certain, good features. If you see here, text classification, text extraction, integration, all this I will have to tell you first, and then we can go ahead and work on this. So basically what it does, it you can take a customer feedback and you can use AI and the no-code text analytics to analyze whether the customer feedback, you can analyze how the customer feel about you. Like kind of sentiment analysis. Take some example is given here, you can see here. Nice to catch up when missing the original viewing and all, whether it is negative. See here, this is the view of the customers, which has been gathered in one place. And then the sentiment analysis is converted into a category negative, positive, and neutral. Then you have further classification of this, that how many customers have called for technical reasons, for billing reasons, support, bugs, and semantic by topic. You can find out this, you can see the word. So you can analyze the entire thing into it. So can we visualize the data, classify the data, understand and have a better understanding using the NLP. So this is where I'm going to stop now. If there's any question, you can ask me. Yeah.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, please tell me.
So in classifying the speech, so what about dialects, ma'am? Like example for Kannada, that dialects change for every like 30 to 40 kilometers. There is a different dialect or different accent of Kannada. So like that, if the many accents are there, how will be the NLP working, ma'am?
In a particular language, you are saying?
Yes, ma'am.
So basically, NLP system try to develop an algorithm which can go beyond a set of rules and syntax, as I was trying to explain through my session. That the most common task of NLP does is the text classification, right? It will try to categorize your text into various kinds of thing, and in one of that classification can include intent classification, topic modeling, language detection, the dialect in that particular language, and what literally it means. If you have developed an algorithm, so you people can go ahead and develop that. Like for example, at present the NLP, whatever I have seen and whatever I know, is all about the Western languages. But Indian regional languages, like Amazon is trying to do that, and many companies have come forward, e-commerce company, where they're trying to come out with the services where a particular text, English, suppose a particular person is speaking in a particular language, let's say Kannada or Tamil or any language, and there's a particular dialect in the way he's using that particular dialect. So the machine will take that, whether it's a speech or it's a text. The machine will understand the context. The machine will classify it. It will understand the intent and also the language. It will detect what language it is, what particular dialect mean, and will convert that and make the machine understand in their own way, how the machine understand, and respond to you in your own way, the way you understand. So that's how the machine is going to do. So it's going to do the classification of text, sign, semantic, language detection, everything, even symbols also.
Yes, ma'am. But it needs a large set of data to train it.
Yes. More the data, better accurate is the result. Because you have to put a lot of speech. You have to put a lot of data to train the model to understand how different dialect you have to put, different kind of accent you have to put to make it understand, right?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Any other question?
No, ma'am.
No questions?
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, please tell me.
It can detect only text messages or images and videos. Images.
So at present, what I have learned is that it can basically detect speech, right? And it can detect the written messages. But about the image and all, I have to say, yeah, I have where one of the article which I read was it can detect the pattern, right? But image processing, one article on healthcare, it was written that it can basically process the radiological report or the X-ray reports, and it can help in identifying and extracting certain information from there. So that much I have written, I have read about it. But then again, it has to be trained on image interpretation also with the knowledge. See, everything AI is having a lot of things. One is inference engine, then you have input, inference engine, and expert or knowledge base. So knowledge base has to be built.
Thank you, ma'am.
And then I think with NLP, it has to build up a combination of computer vision also.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else? Okay, then, Harinakshi ma'am, I think we can wind off for today. If there's no other question, I'll suggest that maybe we can give them some time and let them do the exercise. And if and I want you people to suggest me in the chat box that what a topic you want me to take it in the other, because I'm just taking randomly any topic which I feel is connected and which is useful for you for your application based in industry. Thank you, Vajida, you for praising me. Fintech with AI and IoT. Okay, let me try out. Okay, I don't promise because I'm very weak in finance part. So I'll try out to find out something, maybe something related to deep learning also. I'll try to find out because I did a little study on blockchain and all. Let me see. If I can. Any other suggestion? Deep learning, fintech with AI, IoT, NLP in cybercrime. Very, very actually intelligent question, Vajida. Because even when I was talking about it, I was also thinking, from voice can we detect who has done this particular crime? Like for example, phone recording or something like that. So maybe I can find out about this in the next session and tell you. At present, I have not done any research on this.
Ma'am.
Yeah, tell me.
Some sessions on database concept, ma'am.
Database, what exactly? It's a very wide concept. Is it data analytics you want? Do you want me to focus on data analytics part? Or because database?
Yes, ma'am.
What exactly in database?
The latest softwares, ma'am, which the industry is working with.
Okay. Maybe I can take some examples of certain cases with certain database. I will not exactly go through because some machine learning and AI in data analytics I can show you, right? Because
okay,
database is more about that. I'll show you that, but exactly I can't teach you that how, because I'm very weak in data analytics. But I have some examples, real based, scenario which I can show you, and we can discuss about that in the other classes.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
So okay, so we wind off now for the day. Okay.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, ma'am.
All of you enjoy your festivals.
Thank you, ma'am.
Happy Diwali in advance.
Thank you, ma'am. Wish you the same, ma'am.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Wish you the same, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
How NLP detects cybercrime?
Right.